154. 154. We're talking about people that are wealthy and Habitachon, and some of the dangers, the spiritual dangers of wealth. We're talking about people can think that their wealth is due to their own efforts, but really Hashem entrusted them with a lot of money so that they would do the right thing. It was really a spiritual test. Are you going to use your great wealth for yourself or to help others? We mentioned the story of the stipler that he said he's so happy that he's poor because if he was wealthy he wouldn't be able to sleep at night because he wouldn't know if he was fulfilling all of his obligations with the money. So that's a Jewish perspective of money. How can I use this money to serve Hashem? That's in contradistinction to the prevailing view in our culture about money. So now he's going to talk about another, as they title it here, very good, a misguided quest, wealth for the sake of honor. Another pitfall that can come from pursuing wealth. First, we were talking about people, they go after money because they want to feel secure. They feel if they have a big enough bank account, they're confident. They don't trust that Hashem's going to provide for them, so they make sure they have a ton of money in their bank account. But there's another group of people, that's not why they go after money. They go after money because they want honor. They want to be important. I don't know if you're aware of this, but often in our culture, we honor people that have a lot of money, and they're looked up to. They must know, as it says in Fiddler on the Roof, because when you're wealthy, they think you really know. Philosophy lem shame. He wants to become like a famous guy. Like, oh, look at this rich guy. And they'll never have enough. Someone who's seeking money for honor, to be important, he'll never be satisfied with any amount that he has. This is a foolish reason to seek honor in this world and for the next world. So he says here, very insightful reason. What's the reason that people honor those that have money and try to get close to those with money, really rich people? They think if I'm like friendly enough with this guy, that'll rub off on me a little bit. Maybe I'll get something. Maybe he'll give me money. I'll be able to do a business deal with him, and I'll get rich too. That's really so. People don't like this fellow because he's such an amazing guy. They like him because he's rich. Who wants that? If a person would realize that he's only going to get as much money as Hashem wants him to, he wouldn't have hope in anybody but Hashem. What type of person is befitting honor in this world? Not the wealthy person, but somebody who Hashem honors. Someone who has certain qualities that Hashem praises. What are qualities? Let's finish the pasuk here, and he quotes the pasuk. It says, "Ki mechabdai achabe." For those who honor me, I honor. Someone who honors Hashem are the people that we should honor in this world, not the very wealthy person. Someone who's a Torah scholar, we should honor, who knows a lot of Torah. Somebody who works on himself to have good character traits, to become a better person. That's somebody who that's someone who Hashem honors, and that's who we should honor. They say at these dinners, in addition to honoring you need to honor the wealthy people at the dinners because you have to support the yeshiva. It's just like a practical thing. But you also should honor the Torah. They say you should honor the Torah scholars, and at these types of dinners. But I saw the Vilna Gaon says that he says a person's whole life is about perfecting our character traits. Because we all either were born with certain positive character traits, negative character traits, or whether it's nature or nurture, we grew up in a society that fostered certain negative character traits. He says if we're constantly working on ourselves to become better and perfecting those character traits, he says, Lama Lichai, why are you alive for? It's the whole purpose of being alive is to work on ourselves to perfect our character traits. So that's the type of person, someone who works and he studies Torah and he does what Hashem wants him to. That's who we should honor and look up to, not those that just have a lot of money. And since the foolish people honor those with a lot of money, so he says he adds foolishness in ways that they attain their goal. These wealthy people, they're constantly working very, very hard to earn a lot of money. What do they do? The people are so busy trying to earn money so that they can be important that they neglect what Hashem wants them to do in this world. They neglect the whole reason they were created. That if you're spending your whole life trying to get a lot of money, then you're not working on your character traits to become a better person. You're not working on acquiring Torah knowledge. Right, he says that if these wealthy people that are just searching for honor would put their energies into serving Hashem, doing what they're supposed to be doing, they would for sure attain their goals, and they're going to get that money anyway. Whatever Hashem wants them to get, they're going to get. Like the pasuk says, "Erich yamim b'mina v'smola osher v'chavod v'amar v'osher v'chavod milfanacha." It says, length of days is at the Torah's right, at its left, wealth and honor. Wealth and honor come from you. He says, by honoring Hashem and doing what we're supposed to do, a person will be more successful at earning a livelihood than if he just puts all of his efforts into different schemes and different ideas of how to earn wealth. Okay, let's do like another page. There are certain wealthy people that they... Right, he became very wealthy. Let's say he had a business, or he was a skilled worker, and he obtained money through very hard work. He was successful, and he got very wealthy. Now, there's some people like that. There's other people who just become wealthy because they had a rich uncle that died. They inherited it. They say, the reason I became so wealthy is because of my circumstance. That's why. It was either because of my inheritance or it was because of my hard work. And if it wasn't for these reasons, I would never have gotten anything. And what do? They praise the reason that they got their wealth, and they don't praise the being that gave them the wealth. So they say, yeah, I worked hard and I was a successful, I had a successful startup in Silicon Valley, and now I'm a bajillionaire, and so everyone should go in technology. It's such a great field, and everyone should invent an app and get investors, and you'll be as wealthy as me. But they don't realize that Hashem wanted them to become wealthy, and if it wasn't because they started a startup in Silicon Valley, they would have made money some other way. And what is this compared to? This is comparable to a person, he's in the desert, he gets very thirsty, he finds like bitter water in a certain pit in the desert. He's so happy he found water. So he drinks the water, he's so happy, I found it's bitter, but I was dying of thirst, I'm so happy I got this bitter water. When he goes a little further, he sees there's half a mile later, there is a spring with very sweet water coming out. Now he regrets, if I only waited another half a mile, I would have this sweet water to drink, not this bitter water. So the says, a wealthy guy who earned money in a certain way. If he hadn't had this way to earn the money, like we said, he would have gotten the money in another way. So it says, there's nothing that can hold back Hashem to save a person, whether it's a lot or a little. So he's saying here that a person becomes wealthy because of reason X. So he goes around his whole life praising reason X. This is, I got so lucky, I was so successful in this, but really he doesn't realize that he spent so much effort and wasted so much of his life making this money, and he would have gotten the money anyway had he devoted himself to avodas Hashem, to serving Hashem, because Hashem wanted him to get the money for whatever reason. And just because he did reason X, if he wouldn't have done reason X, he would have gotten to reason Y. I mentioned the story before, that my Rosh Yeshiva had, I think it was a student, or he knew a guy, that he was very nervous about how he was going to earn a living, so he went for years and years and years for some specialized field in engineering, to school for years. He left yeshiva years and years to do this, and he got a degree, a PhD or a master's, so he could finally earn this, go into this field. And as soon as he was about to start working, he had an uncle who passed away and left him millions and millions of dollars, so he never went into the field anyway. Meaning he was working so hard to get this specific profession so he could make a lot of money, but he never ended up working in it because he got a Yerusha. And they bring I heard this, on the bottom they bring a mashal. I heard this before. They said there's a fellow in the shtetl. He never saw a car in his life. He heard there's something called a horseless carriage. So someone comes and he shows him a car, and guy's like, come, let me show you how this car works. So they say, yeah, it's not going to work. There's a carriage, there's no horse. How's this thing going to work? He doesn't believe it. So he sits in the passenger side, and the driver starts putting the key, and it's not going. Eventually it starts going a little bit. It's going very slow. So the guy thinks to himself, you know what? This is probably just like a horse. I have to hit it to make it go faster. So he starts hitting the car. And little by little, the car starts going faster. He says, oh, it's working. It's just like a horse. You hit the horse, you hit the car. It goes faster. So he hits the car, and it's going faster and faster. So he thinks that the reason the car was going was because he's hitting the car. But really, the car is going because it has a motor. He doesn't cop the real reason. Same thing in life. We think that we're successful because of our own efforts. We're doing whatever we have to do. But really, it's Hashem. Hashem's the reason we're successful. And if we wouldn't have been hitting the car, if we wouldn't have been putting in our efforts, we would have been successful anyway. So that's the lesson from this week. And also that chasing money, it's a very big Yetzer Hara for everybody. Everyone likes money. But a person can, first of all, the honor that one gets is fake. And we're supposed to be running away from honor and not running towards it. And also, he's making the point that a person could waste his life. He could waste his life looking for money where he neglects the important things in life, like studying Torah, doing mitzvos, working on a person's character traits. So it's a very slippery slope. We have to be very careful. And whatever Hashem wants us to get, we're going to get no matter what.